Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you, because we know people are joining from different parts of the world. My name is Pradeep Nayak. I am at the University of Waterloo and also representing here the Vulnerability to Viability Global Partnership for Building Strong Small-Scale Fisheries. So welcome everyone to this thematic webinar series of V2V. So I will start with a few rounds of introductions before we get to hear our speaker today. And first, I would introduce the Vulnerability to Viability Global Partnership, which is a transdisciplinary research, knowledge, and action network with over 100 members representing the academia, the government, and non-government and civil society from Africa, Asia, Canada, and international. The goal of the global partnership is to support small-scale fisheries in their transition from vulnerability to viability. And the way we understand vulnerability and viability, it is not just in an economic sense, but also to represent the various aspects of small-scale fishers and human beings' lives. So that represents the political, the cultural, the ecological, environmental, and all other aspects. The B2B Global Partnership aims to identify the diverse factors and conditions contributing to the vulnerability of small-scale fisheries and engage collaboratively with small-scale fisher communities around the world and other key civil society, NGO, government, and university partners to enhance small-scale fisheries viability. In doing so, the B2B Global Partnership brings people and organizations together across physical, cultural, and disciplinary boundaries through a shared interest in addressing vulnerability and viability issues within the small-scale fisheries itself. The V2V thematic webinar series, for which we have virtually gathered here today, is a flagship initiative of the V2V Global Partnership. It has continued over the last 5 years and more as a collaborative platform to enable discussions on key topics, themes, and issues pertaining to vulnerability, viability, and transitions between the two in the context of small-scale fisheries. The V2B thematic webinar series takes place on the last Friday of every month, and it will continue to be so during the year 2026 and beyond. The series is available internationally through live streaming on YouTube. Details regarding this series can be received at b2bglobalpartnership.org. The thematic webinar series 2026 is dedicated to our V2B transitions case studies from countries in Asia and Africa. So this is very special to us. This dedicated series is created to offer a collective platform for us to share the case study experiences and outcomes. This will help garner feedback from within the V2B community, but also from the larger global audience interested in small-scale fisheries, apart from showcasing the rich V2B research that is underway in Asia and Africa, and that pertains to the V2B transitions itself. Vulnerability and viability are among some of the many realities small-scale fisheries grapple with in their day-to-day lives. Just as vulnerable communities can strive to move towards viability, already strong and viable communities and sustainable communities can revert back towards vulnerability under pressures from internal and external dynamics and drivers. So there is no fixed, achievement in terms of viability. So it can revert back. In this context, our case study special thematic webinar series will focus on vulnerability to viability transitions as a novel approach to highlight their interconnected nature, explore the potential for vulnerable small-scale fisheries to transition towards viability, and the processes through which fisher communities can retain their hard-earned viability without having to revert back towards vulnerability. So it's a process. Over the next several months, that is until the March 2027, we have planned where researchers from the V2V Global Partnership countries in Asia and Africa will present their detailed case study focusing on various dimensions of vulnerability to viability transitions. Today's webinar is the sixth, today's webinar is the seventh in the series of B2B thematic webinars planned for the year 2026 and the 67th since January 2021 when we started this series of webinars. And it is my privilege today to introduce Dr. Inji Lee as our distinguished speaker for the 2026 July talk today. Dr. Inji Lee is a marine social scientist who completed her PhD in marine social science from Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology, that is in Japan. She is currently a professor in the School of Marine Sciences and Technology at the Tokai University, Shizuku, in Japan. Fluent in Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Chinese, and English, Dr. Lee's research focuses on small-scale fisheries and coastal issues, including fisheries policies and governance, community revitalization, Umigyo, which she's going to focus and talk a lot about, because we'll hear about Umigyo today, blue justice, gender and women's roles in fisheries. Dr. Lee serves as the Japan Hub Coordinator for the Too Big to Ignore Global Network, a member of the Board of Trustees of the International Pole and Line Foundation, and a committee member of the Community Catch Outreach Committee East. And I'm also very proud to say that Dr. Lee is a co-investigator of the Vulnerability-to-Viability V2V Global Partnership, and she currently serves as the country coordinator of V2V Global Partnership in Japan. So it is my honor to invite Dr. Lee to deliver today's talk for the V2V thematic webinar series July 2026. And the title of her talk is going to be Strategies for the Vulnerability to Viability Transitions, the Japanese Experience of Umigyo. So thank you very much, Inji, for making time. So the floor is yours now.
Okay, thank you, Pradeep, for the introduction. So let me share my screen first. Okay, can you see it well? Okay, yes. Hello, everyone. Hello from Japan. My name is Inji Lee. So yeah, it's a great pleasure to have this talk. So I'll be talking about strategies for V2V transition, the Japanese experience of Umigyo. So this Umigyo is a newly made Japanese word. Okay. So before going into the detail for the main topic of Umigyo, I would like to show this, the overview of Japanese small-scale fisheries, real quick overview of this. Okay, so characteristics and types. So we have, well, small-scale fisheries, more commonly known as coastal fisheries in here. And then vessel less than 10 tons and mostly daytime operations. And we have diverse species are caught using diverse fishing method. So when I get the questions like what fish do you eat in Japan, I really don't know what to say, because we have really a diversity of this fish species are being consumed in Japan. So and then most of them are family operation. We have a 28 nearly 2,800 fishing ports and about 6,000 fishing communities. And these are the images of the whole fishing method, including point line, the set net, gill net, and some of the seaweed, aquaculture, and etc. And then it's similar and same to other parts of the world. Small-scale fishery, their values and importance. So the resource management, as we can see from this whole the catch volume of the whole country, this catch levels of coastal fisheries, small-scale fisheries, have remained relatively stable, compared to other fisheries, which means their, roles in the resource management, community-based management. And here it also shows how the fishers in daily basis they try to have this investigation or for the taking care of the stocks. So what they're saying here is that we fishers, our job is not to only for catching the fish, but we the increase of fish stock is also part of our work. And then, marine conservation activities, it also taking place whole throughout the country. Releasing juveniles, shellfish, fish, and getting rid of the harmful animals, removal marine debris, etc. Whole this marine conservation activities, based on small scale fisheries. And you may know well about this, Japanese whole rich fish eating culture. As I said earlier, diverse of fish are in the Japanese whole fishing eating culture. And then it's other a part of the world again, gender, the woman's role in post and pre-harvesting, and for the harvesting part as well, their the importance of their role in small scale fisheries. And then management governance whole structure is like we have three main policies, laws. Whole basic fisheries basic act as a sort of philosophy laws. It gives whole principles about this in fisheries governance, and the fisheries act is for the substantive law and regulates everything. And we also have this fisheries cooperative act for it's related to the fisheries organization, fisheries organization. So the three main policies in regarding this fisheries. So yeah, well, Japanese fisheries are well known for its well organized fisheries organization. We now have about 800 the coastal based port level FCAs. They're very active in this community-based management and revitalization activities as well. And yeah, we're also facing this challenges and issues and challenges. It includes uh, the unstable fishing household income, and then shortage of successors, aging populations, and whole environmental changes, decreasing resources. And also, we also had a new sort of challenges regarding to this new fisheries policy, which focusing more on now the economy efficiencies. So little justice issues, concerns about this regarding this. And another one is where, the new policy now more emphasis on the scientific based the fisheries stock management. So the government now wants to broaden the total allowable catch to the coastal, the small scale fisheries as well. So some the justice concerns about this as well. So these are the old challenges and new challenges that we have now. So under such whole background, this this Umigyo movement has emerged in throughout the country. So from here let's talk about this V2V transition about this Umigyo. Now, so 2023 is considered the first year start of this Umigyo whole initiative, whole movement. So it has been included in the national policy as well. But the thing is, Umigyo is not the initiative that suddenly started this recent years. It's been seen from the late the 80s in Japan. The community based centered on fishing families. They started some other non-fishing the economy activities. So it started from there. But now the government want to promote this Umigyo because some people they think of a certain number of people they think the Umigyo is the thing that just started recently, but it's not like this. So this is community based. It started quite a ago, but now it's promoted by the government. So Umigyo, it's a new concept. It's a new, as I mentioned earlier, it's a new word. While the fishing in Japanese is gyogyo. Gyo means fishing, and then gyo means source of living. So the fishing is gyogyo, but while gyogyo is a fishing combination of fishing and source of living, the umigyo is a combination of word of umi means marine, ocean, sea, and then plus with the source of living. So which means you it's not while the fishing is only depend on the fishing part, but the umigyo is utilizing all the other resources existing in the communities and then connects them to the new source of income. And the important part is that who part of these activities, who should be carrying out these activities. There should be always the fisheries or like fisheries organizations. So this is a whole new concept of this umigyo. Um, and then here's a simple table, comparing gyogyo and then umigyo. So the object target of gyogyo is, aquatic animals and plants, but umigyo, it has more like broader, not only for the aquatic animal plants and marine coastal area, the space, and then amenity values are also in the umigyo, and then scope of economic activities. Well, the Umigyo is only from production to distribution, but Umigyo it includes from production to the consumption, and then leisure the consumption as well. And for the nature of target market, while the Gyo fishing is mostly food commodities market, but this Umigyo it's a food. It includes food, leisure, recreational market, and also cultural educational market as well. So these are the basic differences about the two. And then a figure shows the sort of meaning of umigyo. Well, the primary purpose of this umigyo is to increase the non-fishing part of the fishing household income. So from that it will leads to whole increase the whole income of the fishing household, and that will contribute to the maintain fishing household and then small scale fishing sector, and then the maintain the community the communities, which we call the life above water. And then also by doing that, life above water, protecting life above water to protect the life below water, the stock, the resources. And then such activities will, leads to increased fishers' vitality, including their, positive, mind and thinkings. So these will also contribute to positive participation in the community problem solving, community matters. And by doing so, they will gain reputation, trust, and legitimacy in the communities. And then the cooperation partnerships will be formed by doing that. And then all of this will, leads to raising up this, the community viability. And high community viability will also, form this new umigyo activity. So this is a whole picture of this umigyo, meaning of umigyo. And then a few photos I will show, the let's say typical or like in general the umigyo activities. since late 80s that we see in this country. So direct sell stores, this is typical, yes, sort of businesses that are run by either fishing families or the fisheries organized, the fisheries cooperatives, where they put their, the local fish and then some like a processed products there. And then the fishery restaurants. So it's without any fancy facilities, fancy buildings. It's like a simple the place to but the fish and the meals are the best. So you can enjoy the meal with the luxury, the views. So fishery restaurant is another types of umigyo activities. And then community festivals. Almost every fishing communities, they have their own community festival. So like it's most of the time it's like one day event. So for a couple of hours, it can attract like 50,000, 60,000, even for 70,000 people just gathering in this one small port area to enjoy this whole, the local fish. Yes. And then recreational fishing is another example of this umigyo. Well, when we say recreational fishing in Japan, it has two types. One is that the people they own their own the pleasure the boats, and then it's a one type. Another one is that fishers are running their own recreational fishing business. When during the off seasons. So this is another type recreational fishing. Again, the typical type of the umigyo here. And then also the educational hands-on learnings. It's also typical activities that communities or fishers are having people coming, the city people coming, the kids and adults together come to the community and then to enjoy and then to learn everything about ocean, everything about fish and communities and etc. So these are the types of the umigyo in general. So I am going to in my talk I'm going to show like in detail about two case studies. So first one is one from Shizuoka Prefecture. It's about okay, the Shizuoka Prefecture is about in the center of the whole country. It's a case of the boat cruise. So run by a fishing family. So in the Inarimaru is the name of their boat. So the name of their business is also called Inarimaru. So their family, three, husband, wife, and then their son. So three of them are running their family business. So the fishing type of fishing is the splendid Elfosina, the like here, this fish. And then their boat size is about 12 tons, and the fishing hours usually taking place from the sunrise to noon. So they for the whole afternoon they will have the spare time for doing the umigyo activities. So what they yeah, so this is how why I mean how and why they started this fishing boat cruise because they have quite a the after the fishing, so they want to utilize this time to run this business. It's not a very fancy. It's not a difficult new things to start. It's just a boat cruise. Having customers on the boats and then about 40 minutes of the fishing trip and then that's how that's the cost for the 40 minutes of the fishing cruise. And then the customers can, enjoy the views and feeding the seagulls and etc. And here shows their earnings from doing this Kimme. Kimme is the name of the Alfonsina, their cruise. So, well, it's, it depends for a couple of years. So the maximum one for them is about the 1 million Japanese yen. And then, for other years, also because of the COVID, the time, is less than that. But so at glance, when we see it from here, it's not a big the number of the money, but when we compare this to the average small scale fishing people's, the income level, which is about 2 million or like and 3 million Japanese yen. So we can from here we can tell that 100 not 100 not 1 million is not a small number. And so this is the the monetary contribution of this Umigyo, and then we don't want to what you say see, we don't want only see the figures and numbers. We should also think about this qualitative part of this contribution of the Umigyo. So fostering motivation. This is the wife's quote. We well, okay. So although there were many worries about starting business, we were glad we did it. I'm happy to hear the happy voices of customer to see, and then I hope people will feel excitement of it. So this is how the family feels about satisfaction by doing this business, and then their son, young people because we really lack this young people coming into the fishery. So the young people, they also feel, sort of, the sense of satisfaction in doing Umigyo as well. So what he says in here is, and I feel a great sense of purpose in helping people understand that fishers are not only people who catch fish, we have many other skills and roles to offer. So these are the, we can say, yeah, I don't want to say it's a side contribution, but it's also like a, yeah, non, the contribution is are big. And then they also started, we can see from here that, the Umigyo fosters, new goals and challenges as well. So they, by doing fishing boat crew, they started this whole other many, businesses, including the port side seafood bar, and then a little, sales as well. And then award winning is also needs to worth of mentioning. And then another interesting thing is that just this year they started a new fishing, which is this seaweed fishing, tengusa. It's a real material, good material for the traditional Japanese food. It's a traditional fishing as well, but they have a sort of danger of losing this the traditional fishing because lack of successors and lack of new people. But by doing all this Umigyo activities, now their son just started this new fishing, which is a whole I consider this as really whole big contribution of this Umigyo. Yes, so this is about the first case, and the second case is the nori seaweed farmers. It's in Hyogo Prefecture. It's a You may have heard about the Kobe city as a well in outside of Japan, I guess. So in Kobe city, they have the seaweed. Nori seaweed is one of their quite a major fishing activities. So and then it's quite nearby the big city, so we call it like urban types of the fisheries. Um, And then this case is about a few nori fishers, nori seaweed farmers. They got together and established a sort of company. It's a little different from the general company. Fisheries Limited Liability Partnership LLP, and then 12 employees. Then have 12 employees, so they're like the slogan is to from family businesses to cooperation. And here's the second generation of the leader of this smallmouth fisheries. And then here, this table shows whole diversity of the Umigyo activities that they've been doing. So nori, apart from nori seaweed, they also have this wakame seaweed farming, and then wakame seaweed farming owner program. This is sort of, they having customers to be the owner of the seaweed, the fishing grounds by paying yearly fee. So the customers can be, they can enjoy either for the harvesting and then to grow the wakame seaweed as well. So we call it like a owner program. So that, and they also started some other farmings, including oyster farmings and salmon aquaculture as well. And they run their own direct sales stores, online sales, and some other, businesses as well. This is a whole picture of their businesses. And then a few photos to show their businesses. Salmon aquaculture, small scale. It's just nearby the coast. From the coast, you can see the fishing place. And then their direct sales stores, they have their own nori products and then salmon products and some, the nori seaweed ice creams as well. So a small store by the coast. And then here are the online shops. They sell their products as well. And then marine, the international business, because it's a as I said, it's an urban type of fishery. So a lot of people, for during the summer season, a lot of people coming in this area. So it's a sort of the whole big business opportunity for them. And then they have a written organizational, the agreement, corporate agreement, and operating committee regulations. And then the structure is like all of them are belong to the Kobe City Fisheries Cooperative, and they set up this a company, and then under that, they have an operating committee. This operating committee decides, for the matters necessary for the organization and everything. And then they also started the one Suma Reach Sea Network. It's for, just for, volunteer works. They also want to contribute to the community, to the regional areas. So organizational structure. And then key outcomes. I will not go into the detail, a few for showing the key outcomes. So part one is, how this Umio activities, to increase their non-fishery income. That it's not an actual number, just to show the tendencies. Figure two is about direct sales revenue. Figure three, online shop revenue, which it's from 2015 to 2025. So it's been almost 10 years. So 10 years, during this 10 years time, whole, the non-fishing income increased a lot, which we can tell from the figure. And this one is for wakame, the farming owner program. So the orange line is the number of the customers are engaged in this program, and then the blue one is about the increase of their sales. And figure five, clam digging activity, the short neck clams and other, just collecting clams activities. So the people need to pay a little fee for doing this. Again, the number of people increase and their sales increase as well. And again, we don't want to only just see their, the numbers and, figures, because it's not, so Umigyo activity is not only about earning the, money. So part two key outcome of this is qualitative perspectives. So which we hear from the employees, which are the fishers. Working conditions increase a lot, and then employees benefit, including the welfare, and also feeling of safety, and then flexibility of the time. Uh, Most time, fishers in general, they don't have time to travel uh, for attending, for example, for conferences and meetings. But like here, they really enjoy this flexible time, because it's sort of a collective, partnerships. So job satisfaction, sense of achievement. So all these are also, the outcome of this Umigyo. And then part three, fishery sustainability, because we get this a lot that say, Umigyo, when you do Umigyo, then how about the fisheries? Are you going to get rid of the fisheries? Uh, we get this question a lot, but one thing we need to be clear is that Umigyo and fisheries are not in the trade-offs. They're not trade-off relationships. So Umigyo is for sustain the fisheries. Umigyo is to sustain fisheries sustainability. So which we can tell from this case as well is that they are the nori seaweed farmers, and then this figure shows nori aquaculture, how they increase their revenue and then unit price and production volume as well. So these are the key outcomes of this, and this is their nori seaweed, small nori seaweed. Uh, yeah, sort of becoming well known in the whole country. By doing whole, making a lot of efforts on this. Okay, so these are two cases. For one is the family, fishing family base activity. Another one is for partnership, the sort of collaboration type of activities. And here are some, the principles for doing this Umigyo, but they're not all. There should be more, but just a few to mention is that the Umigyo should be led by fishers and fishers organizations. We also need to ensure fisher participation in decision making, and then create business models to ensure fishers income improvement. And then what else? We also need to utilize outsiders, object ideas, and information collaboration, and then build an organizational structure that ensures young people and women's participation, and establish rules for the use of local resources, etc. Yes. Okay, so this is my last slides. Well, I can really relate Umigyo to this small is beautiful, the human-centered economics. So to me, if the West has the human-centered economics, or if the West has formed the human-centered economics, then the East, has its fisher-centered Umigyo studies. Okay, so I think this is all for my talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. That was wonderful. And I can see that, oh, Pradeep sir is here. So yeah, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Inji. Those two case studies are really, really, uh, good examples of, how local fisheries management, uh, you know, moves into, making not only economic sense, but also a lot of social and other kinds of, outcomes available to the fishers and the society itself. So um, we will, discuss this more through the questions that we have started to receive. Um, so one of the questions, if I can read it to you and if you can answer, is by Erwin Prayogi. And we know that Erwin is from Kalimantan in Indonesia. And Erwin is asking, how can the Japanese Umigyo model be adapted and co-designed with small-scale fishing communities in Indonesia that can facilitate an inclusive, equitable, and environmentally sustainable fisheries system? Of course, you may or may not be an expert of Indonesia, but if you take out Indonesia, but then the question that remains is, how can this lead to more inclusive, equitable, and environmentally sustainable fishing? In terms of Umigyo.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for the question. Well, our big goal is to to adapt this in Umigyo initiative is to it can help other countries to raise their viability of the communities. But well, we can say it's a the whole conditions, the resources you have for, I mean, even within in Japan, the activities really differ, depending on the places, depending on the resources you have in your communities, so there are quite a lot of factors relates to this Umigyo, like the natural resources, the fishers organization, community organizations, etc. So for bring this to other country, for like Indonesia, yeah, we really need to have a quite sufficient time on what kind of conditions you have, and then yeah, so well, yeah, what I can answer now is that. But again, so yeah, a few points that we really want to, keep in mind is that this is not only about economic, just the economic efficiency or like whole growth industry. It's so different. Yeah. So fisher and community people should be always in the center of this, in here. And I would also say, fishers strengthen the fishers organization or strengthen the fishing groups. It doesn't have to be, whole, formal organization, but strengthening the, fishers group, the collective action is also important for that.
Yeah, and to the question about inclusive and equitable fisheries systems, you did talk about blue justice, in your talk, and that's one
Yes.
of the key elements that you're exploring as part of Umigyo. So to that effect, the equity concerns and inclusivity of the fisheries is a key, target and a key focus, I would say. So can you then, in line with that, can you explain a little bit about the blue justice, within the Umigyo system of Japan?
Yes. So well, the Umigyo, it has we can say narrow concept of Umigyo, and then now we have a broaden the concept. So it started, as I mentioned earlier, it started from the from the communities, like a bottom up activities. So from that part, we say it's a narrow definition of this Umigyo. So there are the fishers or fishers organization, the one. But for promoting more this throughout the country, the governments now broaden this concept. So this who should this the main actor, this part is now sort of blurry to everyone, even for the government people, even for other community people as well. So and also because to facilitating collaboration between communities to the private companies, yeah, you know, so it's a sort of, they enable the private capital into the coastal the areas to even for the small scale fishing the sectors. So it has a whole big concern about this because it's we don't want the companies has nothing to do with the communities, but come into their do their business, but this is not Umigyo, right? So yeah, that's why we need the justice, social justice, blue justice, the concept in promoting this Umigyo, or for this whole economic activities. We do need this blue justice. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so which means, uh, the elements of, justice, equity, and inclusivity are somehow, active within the Umigyo concept, and of course, there are challenges that you talked about, and some of those challenges do pertain to uh, the ideas about or notions about equity and all. So, okay. So, you also mentioned something that non-fishery income is increasing within the Umigyo implementation. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Mhm.
I mean, it could be seen as both. So when in a predominantly fisheries system, non-fishing incomes increase, it could be seen very positively that there is a diversification of the livelihoods and the incomes. But at the same time, it could be seen somewhat in a negative way that fisheries is not probably doing well, and therefore fisheries income is decreasing as compared to non-fisheries income. So can you just give us a little bit more perspective on the equations between fishery and non-fishery
Mhm.
incomes in the Umigyo system?
Yes, thank you. Well, so first of all, fishing and then umigyo, they're not trade-offs, as I mentioned earlier. So as that, so fishing families income composed of two parts. One is fishing part, and then another one is non-fishing part. So, you know, for the fishing part, it's really challenging for nowadays for the fishing household because of whole the fishy stock. It happens everywhere you go. You can bad catch, whole environmental changes, and then the water temperature went on. So so the communities are losing the fish they are familiar with. Uh, s- so their most fit for fishing families, their fishing income is sort of decreasing. It's a real big thing. So only depending on this fishing part, we cannot sustain this fishing as
Mhm.
really well. And so, yeah, and then we're talking about this non-fishing income, where you really, it's a sort of, way value adding activities, do a little processing, you can do that, and then having customers, coming over, and then for the hands-on learnings, these can all they're considered to be the, non-fishing income. And then guest houses, running guest houses, the fishery restaurant, yeah, we consider all these are the non-fishing income, but these are not for guarantee of the fishing, but as a matter of fact, it's a tool to sustain the fishing, the businesses. Because well, the research shows, the fishing people, they have their sort of pride, their family's pride. They take pride in their family. They don't want to, you know, uh, they don't want quit this fishing, even though the incomes or the monies are not good. So by doing increasing this, the non-fishing income, their whole income will go up, and then they will be happy. And then, hold this, the mentality, positive mind, and then, sort of, this is one case they started a new fishing. It's a very, yeah, I'm really glad to see that happen.
Yeah, and that's really speaks to the point about uh, they may not be fisheries related income. For example, they may not be income from catching fish, but their income from fishery-based activities. So these incomes are not from outside the fisheries sector itself. So it really depends on how you define fisheries-based income or
That's right.
not.
Yeah.
Someone can argue that these are all fisheries income because these are all
Uh-huh.
activities within the fisheries system. Okay, so that's very interesting in terms of um, uh, and it really again speaks to the point that you made, that fishers believe that the fisher's job is not only catching fish but also doing managing all sorts of things around fishing. So this speaks to that point itself, that income from catching fish is just one element of income within a larger fisheries sector itself. And Umigyo, in my understanding, is that it kind of facilitates that range of income within the fisheries sector itself. So fisheries income versus fishery-based income is something that is coming out, very, very clearly. And that's very interesting also, in terms of, how you diversify income within the same sector itself. Because in many fisheries around the world, we see that people move out of the fisheries and therefore their income diversification goes outside the fisheries sector. So these are not related to fisheries sector itself. For example, people migrate and do completely different activities, including labor jobs and other kinds of things. So this is a very nice example of how to diversify within the fisheries sector itself. Uh, and
Yeah,
enhance that.
maybe in that sense, maybe we need a new word for fishers, because they're not doing more than fishing.
Yeah,
So they're not only fishers, but yeah,
only fishing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's very interesting. And I think an added dimension of Umigyo, in terms of Umigyo not only fishing activity, but fisheries activities, but also various activities within the fisheries sector itself that leads to income, leads to community prosperity and life below water, life above water kind of conceptualization that you have brought up. Um, um, I have a question with regard to the last slide that you had, about the principles, and
The
that is again
principle.
very,
Yeah,
very
it's a nod.
interesting. So, and you said that the principles are emerging from the experiences in the two case studies that you presented. Uh, so can you speak a little bit more about these principles? Are they uh, are they Umigyo principles? Are they community principles in general in fishing villages or fishing communities of Japan? Um, what are these principles?
Okay. Well, well, we can consider they're like the principles in general for promoting Umigyo. So including the two cases. And then, well, I just wanted, it sounds a little fancy to call them 8 principles, but there are a lot. And but the important thing there is, again, it's about the justice. So we really need to put the fishing people, we need to put the fishers organization in the center of this economy activity. So this is one thing. Another thing is that what we really need to take more time to support the fishing community is to they used to be, I mean, they are the fishers. They are really professional at fishing, the catching, harvesting the part. But they, most of the time, they don't have other skills, and then they don't have other, business minds, sort of, So these are part that, really the government people need to support, or even for the, researchers as well, to, help them to build this sort of, business models to do their new, media activities. I think, yeah, these are the, and center of this. And also for it's not only about the economic activities. Umigyo is also, a way of, living together with the nature and the, human economic activities with the nature. Is because, they're small scale fishing people live above water. They always are, taking care of the life below water. Whole, Eleanor's, the eight principles thing is also happening in these areas as well, living together. So sustaining the fisheries.
Yeah,
To do that, so we need to be, economically strong. So this is whole point of this. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's great. The explanations, and the analysis that you are doing. Also, to my mind, suggests that Umigyo in itself is a principle. So it's emerging as a principle. Um, but at some points, Umigyo also looks like a process. So the whole process of how life and fisheries takes place on the coasts of Japan is Umigyo. So Umigyo is a process, itself. So Umigyo has this many faces. Sometimes it is exposing itself as a principle. Sometimes it is exposing itself as a process. So it is multiple things, which is a good thing. Actually, it's as diverse as the fisheries in Japan are, as you talked about it. Umigyo is also very diverse, like
Yes.
exposing itself as process, principles, values, economic, activities, facilitating sustainability, life above and below. So that's a kind of a very, very diversified concept in itself, which is great in that sense. So we have another question from Ratana. And
Oh,
Ratana
Ratana.
is, yes, yeah, thank you, Ratana, for the question. So Ratana is saying, thanks, Inji, for the great presentation about Umigyo. It is nice to see that it is being implemented in Japan. It sounds like a good viability model. Okay. Can you speak about how research can support it? And of course, you are a key researcher on Umigyo, for some time now. So how can research support um, Umigyo is the question from
Okay, yes. So, we can say this Umigyo research, only has a little, history. It's a still ongoing thing. So, what I think how the research contribute to this Umigyo is, well, case studies. I think, we need to do a lot more case studies to see if like one case is going well. We need to analyze, what are the factors, really contributing for, success of this. And then at the same time, not all cases are, going well on the Umigyo activities. So what's the reason for not success? So these are the, so for researchers is, to do the more deep case studies. It's not only about numbers, figures, and also need to talk to them. So it's how the social scientists should do, and then, go out to the, fishing community, talk to people, and then I think the researchers are also ones who connect. We need to connect the government, people, and the community. So it's what we say, as TBTI and V2V, the action-based research. I think real. I don't know. Yeah, compared to other, area of study, I think Umigyo is really neat. For our, social scientists, the researchers need to be in the community, and then
yeah,
to
yeah.
focus. Yeah.
I mean, it is a very important question because Umigo is still developing as we understand it, and as we hear from your presentation, it is not yet, it's still developing, in many ways, especially developing within the policy sector, because you're talking about Umigo now going into Japanese fisheries policies. Okay. So I think there is a lot of potential in terms of research to inform this process of, Umigyo being implemented through policies, Umigyo being implemented through community actions, and research has the potential to kind of inform that that those processes in many ways, because it's still an evolving concept in many ways, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert on Umigyo, but it is still evolving in many ways. And when a concept or a notion is evolving, research can really inform how it evolves. So Ratana's question about research is about informing those evolutionary process of Umigyo in Japan. And then Erwin's question about what is the relevance of a concept, Japanese concept like Umigyo to Indonesia. And I could ask you, what is the relevance of this to Africa and India and other parts of the globe? So research can inform those questions, like Erwin's questions about can we implement Umigyo in Indonesian fisheries sector or not? So there is a lot of potential of research in that sense to inform this expanding notion of Umigyo into newer contexts and newer places itself. So that's all great. So I don't see any more questions. But I would, before bringing this to an end, if I can ask you one more question about linking Umigyo to the transition from vulnerability to viability. So is there any special or is there any specific lessons we have from Umigyo in terms of not only focusing on vulnerability or viability, but this transition process, because that's more important. Transition is something that allows fishing communities not to get stuck with vulnerability. Move out of vulnerability is sometimes what we might call transition. So what are some of the lessons, Inji, from your work on Umigyo? What are some of the lessons from Umigyo for not only understanding transition from vulnerability to viability, but also really, looking at, how this transition can help communities to go to a better place, given the challenges they have. So if you can speak to that a little bit, then that would be really great.
Well, yeah, listen. Well, the ideal world is to, we get every community to, to do this Umigyo activities. But the thing, as a matter of fact, it's not that easy because, the more they have a, hard situation, the more they don't want to do the new, the activities. So the situation like that, it's so yeah, the lessons, but yeah, lesson is that the cases we see, the Umigyo cases, we can really see how this, their viability are, getting improved. So yeah, not sure how to answer your question. The lessons are that it's actually there. Umigyo can really help in sustainability of fisheries and their viability. But the thing is, we really need to have the communities to engage in this Umigyo activities. And now the situation is that not all communities they understand about Umigyo. What's Umigyo? Even for the some communities, they're doing Umigyo similar like activities, but still they don't understand what they're doing. So it's like what perception recognition, and then their minds this whole things. So yeah, again, this is a part that we researchers really need to take some time to there. So here we sometimes having people come to the university and having seminar and talk to them. It's Umigyo, you should do this and that, like this, and then yeah, not sure. Yeah, maybe
Well, that's
there are the
interesting.
lessons. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because and you said this in your presentation. So Umigo is something that kind of encourages us to think fisheries beyond the economics. So I mean, it's not just an economic activity, and I say this in every month thematic webinar. We say vulnerability and viability are not just to be understood as economic,
Right. Yeah.
activities like income. There are social, cultural, ecological, and there are all sorts of, political and other aspects of fisheries that needs to be focused on if our target is viability or sustainability. So, and Umigyo as a concept, as you have explained it, really, really well, um, uh, is to kind of, suggest that it is much more than just economics, or income or some, or economic activities. So in that sense, it brings out clearly the non-economic aspects of fisheries. The collective actions that you talked about, the other social kind of, the cooperative system around, fisheries, uh, the business model, the non-business model, and other kinds of things. So Umigyo becomes this catalyst for transition within a fishing community and beyond itself. I'm just interpreting, listening to your fascinating story about Umigyo. So, Inji, thank you very much. I don't have any more questions, but this has been an hour of really uh, learning about this novel concept that you have been working on in Japan, and also through the questions that we received from the audience to look at the relevance and applicability of Umigyo into other contexts, other geographical, social, and cultural contexts, um, uh, like Erwin's question. So that there is a lot to explore, I think, and the discussions will continue about it. Um, and
Yeah.
we'll see where we can again start to discuss about the relevance of Umigyo in fisheries outside Japan itself. So great work, and thank you very much for contributing to the thematic webinar series. As we always say, these discussions will continue, and thank you once again to you and the audience, for listening and asking those great
For all the
questions.
questions. Yes.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
For having
And
me.
yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I mean, yeah, thank you for having me. I mean, an hour is not far not enough to, talk about this, whole deep concept of Umigyo principles, Umigyo, I call it Umigyo science. So, yeah, well, yeah, but
Yeah,
thank you so much again.
thanks,
Yeah.
Bhumika. Yeah, that's a nice way to conclude. So it's all leading towards kind of laying out Umigyo as a science, the science of Umigyo. The yeah. So thank you once again. So before I end, I would like to invite everyone for the next month, August, last Friday talk, and more details will be, provided on our website, and will circulate as we have been doing in the past months. So yeah, please join us for another talk on, on another interesting concept or, activity, case study from another part of the world next month in August. So thank you once again, Inji. Thank you, everyone. And I would say that it's time to say goodbye to all of you at this point. Thank you.